All right, there's one question that I get asked a lot in session is, what are my gameplay settings? Like, what are my advanced settings? What are my gameplay settings? All that stuff. Some of my settings kind of change depending on what I'm skating. So, like, if I wanted to ollie over this and not die, I would just boost my pop height by maybe like 1 or 2, because like my max pop height is just under that on a normal day. So I'm gonna start with what I set my advanced settings to. We're gonna start from default and change all the important ones. Like, there's nothing really wrong with the default settings. Like, they're still really good. Just for me personally, there's a few things I like to tweak. Also, we're gonna be cruising around the Black Hubbas map, just see if we can find some cool spots. I'll be going over these gameplay settings a little bit later too, but first let's check out advanced settings. So even though there's no numbers to these sliders, they're out of 20. So default is set to 10 with the exception of pop board to body distance, which is set at 8 as default. So if I say 3 notches up from default, that's going to be 13. 13 being from absolute 0. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. And that right there is where I like to set my gravity. 3 notches above default. I'll show you the comparison by the default gravity settings and my gravity settings. So here's the default one. Boom. Let me fast forward a little bit to the next clip. This is 3 notches up from default. So a little side by side here. We got the default on the left side and we got my gravity settings on the right side. 3 notches I find is perfect for me, and I did actually match it up with my own ollie. All I did was match the pop height in the game and then change the gravity to land at the exact same time. 3 notches seem perfect. These 2 settings are completely up to you. It all depends on what you're skating. If you're at a spot that needs more runway or just or just want to push fast. Oh, I went right through the bush. Damn. Brake foot friction. I don't know. I just turned it up 3 notches. All that does is like changes the friction on your braking foot. Gives it more friction. So banking turn rate. I turn this all the way off. Because especially if you have loose trucks, like when you're going really fast, if you have that turned on, you're going to turn a lot sharper. Like I've got loose trucks on right now, but if I turn this all the way up and then try to turn, I just kind of slide out. So with that up, you turn a lot harsher. But yeah, I just keep that down. Crouching bank rate. I turn this all the way down to about, I don't know, 1, 2, 3, 4. What that does is as you're crouching and when you use the triggers, the amount that you can turn. So if you want to wind up for your spin and not turn at all, just turn it completely off. But I like to have a little bit of turn just so I can still adjust as I'm like setting up, you know. Little bit of movement. Pop board to body distance. I keep this roughly at default. Sometimes I raise it to 10 instead of 8. And what that does is like it spaces out your board and your feet when you pop the trick. So this gap right here between the board and your feet, that's the board pop to body distance. The lower you have that set, let's just set it really low. The closer to your board, oh, your feet are gonna be. So right now it's in the board. It's set so low. Now if we set this all the way to max, you're gonna see a big difference here. Boom. So this setting right here is really good for doing hippie flips. You got a lot of distance between your feet and your board. But for me, I kind of like upping it to 10. Gives it a pretty nice distance from your feet. Not too much, not too little. All right, so low pop height. Your lowest possible pop. So like, I can quickly flick that and get this. Now, you don't actually have to mess around with this. Like, you can get low pops by doing very quick inputs or flicking down on the front foot instead of out while you have the back foot set. I got lost in my words for a second. While your back foot's down, if you push down on the front foot instead of up, then you can get a really low pop. But if you flick it really quick, you can still get like really tiny pops. So this is good for like ollieing up curbs. So like that. But I still like having this set roughly to like 4, somewhere around there. So now my lowest pop is something like this, like not even off the ground. But I can still get like, you know, low pops or like slightly higher pops. A very quick input is going to give you something like that, as it should, I think. And then slightly longer is going to give you, you know, slightly higher pops. This kind of helps too with like blunt stalls and quarter pipe tricks and whatnot. I'm gonna raise my foot braking friction just by 1 more notch. So it's 4 now, 14. High pop height. Now this is gonna determine your highest possible pop height. So if I have it all the way up here, we kind of enter Skater XL territory. Just a little bit. With this massive pop height. Like, that is insane for a flat pop. There's no way. I personally like keeping it on default. Like, I can skate spots pretty well like that. But obviously, like, if you want to be able to pop over something like that, okay, well, apparently I can. That was a slightly bad example, but I think I did bonk on the way up. Yeah, I hit it on the way up. and then I tweaked it over. So I keep mine on default grind pop height. This one's got to be lower. I keep mine at 4, roughly 4, but also depending on what I'm skating to. I don't want to be able to pop super high out of grinds. Like I want to have like just a slight, you know, slight pop out of it. Not too much. Kind of like the bump out, as the XL players call it. So yeah, lowering your pop height can give you some nice exits on grinds. However, you don't actually need to turn this down to be able to get small pops out of grinds. Remember when I told you you can press down on the front foot to get a small pop? Well, same thing applies here. If you want to get a small pop, flick your front foot stick down or towards your tail, or whatever like the flicking foot is, just flick it towards your opposite foot, and you can get a small pop out of it. No need to adjust the settings at all. And whenever you want a big pop, all you have to do is just flick out like normal. That's kind of why I have my low pop set, because like that's a really high pop out of a 5.0. Like I don't want to be able to pop that high out of my grinds. Manual pop height, you're kind of gonna want it somewhere around 5. So I'm gonna manual this. I want to be able to kickflip out of it. Boom, perfect. So my manual pop height wasn't that high, and it's pretty realistic right here. Like you're not gonna pop that high out of a manual with the kickflip. Like you're gonna pop just a little bit, just a slight bit, and boom. I'm not used to the camera being able to go through the ground. No collision on camera. That's awesome. However, you can still high pop out of manuals if you really want to. So if I go to the end, push my sticks all the way down first, and then pop, boom, you can see my pop is much higher than it was before. But if you do a quick input from the manual, you're gonna get one of your lower pops. So that one is a lot lower. I just like lowering my manual pop height and my grind pop height just to kind of keep them a little bit more realistic. If I brought this all the way up to the max, I'm pretty sure I've done this before, but I can't remember what it looks like. So let's prepare for a monster pop. I didn't hold down long enough. Oops, hang on. Let's do it again. There we go. I mean, that pop wasn't insane as I thought it was gonna be, but that's still really high for a manual. Anyways, adjust these how you want, but I keep them at roughly 4. This one, I think I keep it around 6 though. Body rotation rate. Now, since you raised your gravity, I really highly suggest you raise this up by 1 notch. However, if you're playing on any of these right here, timed, speed, or pressure, you might want to raise it up a lot more because it's really hard to get a 360 with pressure and timed and speed. I read those backwards. Timed and speed. There you go. But if you're on manual, this is perfect. So with your pop height and rotation, you should be able to get some pretty nice 360s. And if I lower this down by 1 notch, I don't think you can kind of still barely make it. Actually, apparently I set it up 2 notches. 2 notches will give you the perfect one. There it is. All right, 2 notches with my gravity settings and my pop settings. Gives you really nice 360s on manual rotation. Gives it that little like scoot without having to do this, like without actually having to like revert. Like you don't need to double tap the trigger. So yeah, 2 notches. I thought it was 1 notch, but 2 notches is perfect for gravity set to 3. So body rotation rate, 2 notches above default. So that's going to be 12. Body rotation friction applies if you're using timed, speed, or pressure for your rotation. So if you're having troubles with 360s on any of those, you can just lower the friction. In air board orient speed. So from the end, 1, 2, 3, 4. There you go. We got 16. 6 above default. That allows you to orient your board after a flip a lot faster. So if I was to flip into a front tail, it orients the board a lot faster. Not the best front tail or kick flip, but you can see it orients a lot faster to get into the tail slide. It's just good for situations where you don't want to use the triggers to turn into your trick, even though you kind of should. I don't think I've actually been down this way yet. Like this is all new, and there's actually stuff here. I'm gonna skate this spot. Hang on, just backside flip. Dude, there's a bank here? What? This is why you have to explore the maps. There's always so much to skate. Like that? Ooh. Flip speed. So with my gravity settings, up this by 1. The way that I got this was I want to be able to double flip on flat. And for me in real life, it kind of like just barely lands. Like I'll catch it around there. Yeah, sometimes I'll like lower pop height by 2, and then having flip speed up by 1 allows me to get my double flips roughly the exact same. So flip speed turned up to 11. Flip friction, I don't touch. Scoop speed, exactly the same as flip speed, just up by 1. I want to be able to get 3 shoves on flat. Scoop friction, don't touch. Sync flips and scoops. Now, if you want some crazy flip tricks, turn this off, but I personally keep it on for now until it's actually working a little bit better. But now with this off, we can get some pretty insane flips, and my board actually got stuck like in the rail. Oh, you can get some pretty insane flip tricks with that off. That was a perfect tray double flip. Nice. It is fun to mess around with this, but just keep in mind that some tricks aren't really gonna work. So yeah, keep this on for now. Grind friction. Now I call this the wax feature. So with default settings, if I back 5-0 this, you see, hang on, I'm gonna start slowing down. There we go, stopped. Oh, realistically though, for a ledge like that with no wax, the friction should be all the way up. That way, when you do this, you don't go as far. I mean, I still went pretty far. However, let's wax this ledge up a little bit. We'll change the friction all the way down, and we'll see how far we get. So yeah, I'm grinding on the inside, but you can see there's a lot less friction. I don't really suggest you turn this down too much, especially if you like go really slow for things, because as soon as you get into a ledge, it's gonna make you speed up. So like if I'm going this slow right here and I get into like this little blunt, it's gonna keep me sliding. We'll go around the corner. Oh no. Oh, we're going the other way. Okay. Yeah. Oh, now we're going back. We're going back. Okay, pop out. Or not. Yeah, you can have fun with grind friction, but just keep in mind it's gonna speed you up no matter how fast you're going. So I tend to keep this on like roughly, I don't know, 8. But default I think is actually pretty good still. So for now, I'm gonna keep it on default. Grind rotation rate. I want to be able to actually rotate in the grinds faster. So boost this. There's no harm in boosting it. Personally, I like to keep it here at 16, 6 above default. Whoa. So yeah, being able to like rotate a little bit faster from your grinds is really helpful. Yeah, for example, like nose grind and then being able to like switch over. Like you want to be able to spin a lot faster. So if I wanted to go for like nose blunt to nose grind without popping, I can go nose blunt and then switch into a nose grind and then, you know, back lip. This depends on like whatever you want it to be. Like if you want to spin really fast, then do that. I like keeping it at 16. Power slide friction. Keep it at 5. I want to be able to like power slide a little bit longer. That's all that does. Oh, what is this spot? I feel like something like this is where you're going to want to have like a higher manual pop. Board control side impulse. Now, if you have your board control set to manual, you can control left and right pop and like, you know, your dips and all that. I like keeping this maybe roughly around 3, just so I can pop over a lot more. Like being able to pop over to the sides by putting your back foot in the pocket or, you know, your front foot in your pocket. Dude, there's so many little like spot. Wow. I don't know, just roughly around here is where I keep it. So we'll call it 12. Extra board pitch. So how vertical do you want your tricks when you flick them vertically? So let's say, for example, a dolphin flip. If we want it sort of like that. There we go. Boom. Dolphin flip. We can actually get that way more vertical and make it look way more like a dolphin flip instead of a slightly vertical varial. Let's boost this all the way up and then see what we get. Oh, look at that. Wow. Look at that vertical. Boom. It's a lot more like a varial on default right there. Like that's more varial than anything. We'll speed it up to this one right here. And then you can see it's like, it's flicked a lot straighter and it's a lot more pitched. So that's a more of a proper dolphin flip right there. And I'm in the stairs. How am I not noticing, whoa, any of these spots? And look, you can move things too. Like you can move all this stuff. And did you know that? I knew that. But not many people know that you can move all of these objects. You can make whatever you want. Like just look around the city every once in a while. And yeah, you'll see like a bunch of things that you can move. So yeah, extra pitch. I like having extra pitch, maybe around here. So 16. Actually, I think I'm gonna keep board to body distance to default. So set to 8. But you can raise this, lower this, however you want. Board control, extra scoop, I don't actually touch. I just leave it on default. Dark slide, catch angle. I leave this on default also. But if you want to widen the catch window for a dark slide, you can raise this up. And this just opens the catch window for dark slides up a little bit. So they're a little bit easier to get into. So a lot easier to catch. I just keep it on default. Same with this, I just keep it on default. And then max sprint speed, I keep this on default. But if you want to be able to run around the map like a madman, like Sonic, here you go. Like this is how you run around the map faster. Yeah, I keep that on default. So now as for my actual gameplay settings, difficulty preset is on custom. I use left and right foot input. Something to note at the time of recording this, front and back foot does have some issues. So if you're encountering something like, if I can get out of the menu, if you're encountering something like this, where you 180 into a manual and you auto pop out, that's because front foot, back foot has a bug. So if you turn it on to left and right foot, now we can get into it. No problem. Body rotation mode is on manual. Now for my board settings, so I have my sync truck tightness turned off. I've got my front truck set to 5. I got my back truck set to 8. Wheel bite enabled and wear and tear is on. If you want to reset your wear and tear, turn this off, exit to here, and then go back and turn it on. And there we go. We got a brand new board. Flip trick settings, I've got manual catch, board control mode is on manual, my input speed for flip continuous mode turned on, scoop input mode set to normal, so for a pop shove it, I'm gonna do a quarter turn scoop instead of, if you're on small, you do like a 1/8 scoop, which feels a little bit awkward to me. So I just leave it on normal, and then a 3 flip is gonna be like a full half turn. Full half turn. What? Scoop speed mode is on input speed. Scoop continuous mode is on. Pop height mode is set to unique. I have my late tricks turned on. I've got my quick shove it's turned on. My grind settings, I do not recommend you copy one of these. Oh wait, never mind. I thought I was on revert settings. Never mind. The setting that I don't recommend is not in here that you copy. Casual grind mode I have turned off. Auto grinds, I actually recommend you turn them off because they do cause glitches with tricks over stairs or over anything. It tries to like grind, and that's why if you try to 3 flip over something like a stair set and your 3 flip just, you know, explodes or like just goes away, that is why. Input mode set to no release, but I treat it like full release when I do flip tricks. Oh, what is this? Wait, what? Dude, there's like a rail to ledge to rail to, oh wow. Anyways, I kind of like flowing into my nose slides, like just by like moving the stick slightly over instead of letting go and then inputting and then inputting. I want pudding. Grind alignment. If you want easier grinds, turn this all the way up. If you want really harder, unrealistic grinds that don't stay in at all, unless you're like perfect somehow, turn this all the way down. However, I do like having it set to 4. 4 seems to be like a pretty decent number, but until they actually add the balance system in, your best bet may be like, I don't know, halfway. Or full if you want it easier. So usually for me, it's set to 4. Trick relative input is turned on. Dark slides are turned on. Revert settings. Okay, now there's one thing that I do not recommend you copy here. Revert on the ground enabled for me. Revert on landing enabled. I want to be able to revert all the time. Revert sensitivity. Don't copy this. You're not going to like it. I have this set to full. Like full sensitivity. I like being able to revert very easily. Like I like this. I know a lot of people don't, and like they'll go to like micro adjust and they'll like, I don't know, they'll like accidentally revert. I tried hard to accidentally revert there. Like I tried just doing like accidental micro adjustment revert and I still couldn't get it. So for me personally, I never have a problem. That's why my revert setting is so loose. I like being able to do that. For a normal person, you probably want this a lot lower. And then auto revert, I don't want the game auto reverting for me, so I have it disabled. Big drop landing input. I can't wait until this is actually fixed and working, but for right now, disabled. And if you guys want to know what my camera settings are, usually I go and set it to near. internal yawn burp. Usually I have it set to near and I like this, but my custom one that I use is this. So this is what my custom one looks like. It's pretty much just like a really close angle of the board, but it's not so different from near. I can never remember how to get back there. Camera. Like near is like really close to that. Near is like a little bit higher up. So if you want to copy my exact setting, I've got 1, 2, 3, 4. I got 4 here, and then 5 and 5. So that's it. That's all the gameplay settings, my custom settings, everything that I play on every time you see me play session. Not too crazy, but I mean, they're mine. People actually seem to really like my stats. Like I was very surprised that people like the stats that I use. Ooh, I actually gave my stats to Garrett Jenner a couple days ago, and he was terrified of changing the stats. But he actually does like my stats.
Also, JL, I do like these stats.
Little front board here. Go! 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 No, okay, wait. We're good. Just shift it down a little bit. Okay, the sound effect is out of here. The sound effect was out first. There we go. Sound waits for no man. So I'm gonna leave my settings in the description in like a number form so that you guys can copy them whenever you want. Share them around. What is this little room for? Is it like a pee-pee room? Oh, we got a manual pad here, and we got movable things here. Damn. So that is gonna do it for this video. Thank you guys so much for watching. Hopefully you enjoy my settings. If you want to keep up with any more session content, hit that subscribe button only if I land this. Okay, you have to now. But thank you guys so much for watching. This is JL Nightmare. So thank you guys so much for watching. Until next time, this is JL Nightmare, and this right here is actually a historical challenge that is not in the game yet, but I have no doubt that it will be because it's historical. Switch back 5-0 and then drop off this ledge right here. Boom. Remember that.